Good morning, YouTube family. It is, gotta check here, the 29th, April the 29th, 2015. And I have a wonderful little message for you. You know, I guess I'm just very vulnerable to fear and doubt. And I think that's, again, one of the reasons why the Lord gives me this job, so that you can see how patient He is. You know, because one night I don't hear anything from Him and I start to freak out, even though I knew the message was about peace and resting in Him, and not about always seeking to know this and seeking to know that. I mean, I understood last night what He was doing, but there's still that little insecurity in me and that little fear that, well, maybe He's not pleased with me and maybe He won't speak to me today. So I kind of was holding my breath all day long. Try that sometime. It doesn't work too well. and finally, when I came into prayer, Ezekiel prayed over me. I did the binding prayer, and I did some repenting for unbelief. And on top of that, I was dead dog tired. I am so wanting to change the schedule. If I can get to bed by 5 in the morning, then I can get up by 2 in the afternoon and still have a nice long sunny day. So I'm working on it. So I was dead dog tired, and I thought, oh my gosh, how's the Lord going to get anything to me in this state? But He was very sweet and accommodating, as He always is. And as soon as I saw Him tonight in prayer, while I was worshiping, He said, Claire, not for one moment have I left you. You've done nothing to deserve that. The enemy is lying to you. Besides, didn't I tell you it's not based on your performance, but on my faithfulness to keep my word? Well, you're here talking with me, Lord. That is you talking with me? I am. Oh, thank you, Lord. My very small and fragile child, don't you know you have no righteousness of your own? But all has been given to you, and if you contain it, you will grow in holiness. You see, I visit each one of my brides with graces, and most receive them, but very few continue to contain them or multiply them. I visit with grace, and I visit with adversity. It is usually during adversity that graces are lost. But what about those times of victory when the devil sifts us and try to take away what we've had? That too is an opportunity to lose grace. It can go either way. One way to lose is after victory. The other is during adversity. When my bride does not receive the challenges and tests I give her, she loses grace. When she becomes self-assured after a victory, she can lose grace. It's a matter of clinging to me or wandering off on your own in your own will. This is why I'm so very strict with you to stay in my will at all times. I want you to contain the treasure I give you so that you may lavish them on souls. But if the living waters leak out before you get to them, well, then your pitcher is empty. And you know what that feels like when that pitcher is empty, don't you? Oh, yes, Lord, it's very sad. It's hard to see others suffering and not having any way to help them. Even lately, Lord, people come to me with questions for you, and I don't feel competent to answer them or to ask you. You have to ask me for this competency, and it is on the way. But your role in the body is more important than answering questions. I don't ever want you bogged down in that. I want you to teach them how to get their own answers, Claire. This is far more important and vital to me. Oh, dear ones, do not burden her with your questions. Seek me, and I will answer your questions. All of you who have been following me closely through this vessel are so close to breakthroughs in hearing and seeing me. Persevere. Don't grow weary and don't give in to unbelief or discouragement. Those are your worst enemies. May I say laziness is part of the problem? You must press in. Those who seek me with their whole hearts, they shall find me. Seek me and live the life that I promised you, the abundant life of communion with me, righteousness, peace, and joy, the fruits of fellowship with me, confidence, courage, growth in charity and humility. These are the sweet flavors of the grapes that abide in the true vine. Bitterness, rancor, flatness, those are the grapes that are produced without the nourishment of the true vine. As I live in you, and you live in me, the grapes we produce together are bursting with nourishment and flavor. It is a cooperative venture. My hands work through your hands. My feet walk through your feet. My heart beats through your heart. And all that is godly and seems impossible to you comes to fruition. All that has previously been out of your reach is now a natural fact, flowing out to other souls who are hungry and thirsty for me. When you begin to see these rewards, the cultivation of new ground, the planting of new seed, and the harvesting of new fruit, rejoice greatly, for great is your reward in heaven. I have longed for cooperative ventures with my body, but so few have the faith and stamina to continue to believe even when the ground seems hard and barren. That is why perseverance is so very important. When you labor with me, you will not always see results immediately, but you will feel a deep satisfaction that together we have plowed and planted, and by faith there will be a harvest. Each day is a new opportunity to co-labor with me. It is your unflagging love for me that keeps you coming back day after day to apply the fertilizer, cultivate the ground, and expect a harvest, knowing that nothing you do for me is in vain. All will bring forth fruit in its proper season. So don't grow weary even at this late hour. Expect a joyful harvest. Expect the plump grapes and fine wine. All these are coming if you continue in your appointed jobs and do not grow weary with the tasks at hand. Then he broke away from the subject for a moment and he said, I know you are tired, Clare. Bear with me just a little while longer. I will answer your prayer about your schedule. But you, my precious, have to obey. We said simultaneously, have to obey, because I sometimes get, while I'm loading the video, I think to myself, gee, I'd like to see what so-and-so said, or what's new here, or what's new there. And I don't do hardly anything like that, but late at night, my resistance is down. And my curiosity is up, of course. And the Lord said, the enemy reasons with you, and silly you, your self-will, loves to listen. Oh, just a little surfing, recreation after a hard night's work. I'm sorry, Lord, it's my own fault. Yes, and you do get carried away. One more thing I would like my brides to know. I have honored your prayers for Clare. I have laid up for you a storehouse of rewards for lifting her up so she could keep going. Whenever you pray for a minister, in heaven you will reap of that minister's rewards. You will say to me, where did that come from? I didn't do that. And I will say to you, you prayed for that servant, and therefore you share in the reward. It is a mystery, but not one thought, not one intention, goes unrewarded before me. I see the hidden things of the heart. I see the love and the care, and I reward you for what I see. And many of you are now beginning to come into your own with piercing the veil and welcoming my perceptible presence in your lives. You are beginning to see just how real is the place I've prepared for you. You are beginning to feel the warmth and safety of my embrace. All because you believed. Continue to believe. Do not allow the enemy to steal the fruits of your labors from you. Protect these precious gifts and fruits. Remember, Satan has come to kill, to steal, and to destroy, and he will snatch them out of your hand if you let him. So take care to protect small beginnings and signs of my indwelling presence with you. These are priceless gifts. Keep them under lock and key in your hearts. I bless you, my brides, with the abundant life of my presence, my perceptible presence in your midst. It is my joy to be with you, and even a greater joy when you recognize my workings in your midst. We are as one. And that's the end of the message. And I just want to take a brief moment to share a couple of things with you. Oh my goodness, we have had some praise reports that just about knocked me off my chair. And we're seeing such beautiful fruit. We have one young man who's 28 or 29 years old, I think. And he lives in the city, he sings rap, and he's just really a cool guy. Well, he had a visitation from the Lord one night, and a really sweet, sweet visitation where the Lord was truly present to him, and it seemed like he was physically present. The love of the Lord so engulfed him, and it was just out of the blue. I mean, he wasn't expecting it. He was asleep, and he sensed the presence of the Lord while he was sleeping, so much so that he tucked up underneath his arm and cuddled up next to him like you would cuddle up next to your daddy. And then another lady just wrote to us, and she was exhausted. She lived in Baltimore. She was very tired, and there was rioting going on, and she sat back in her easy chair and thought about our videos, and she said, "Lord, would you show me my place in heaven?" And all of a sudden, the Lord opened up. The Lord was there in her presence, and these doors opened. And this was all going on in the Spirit. Now, she was seeing this in the Spirit. The doors opened, and the Lord was there, and he was holding a puppy. She wanted to get a puppy and name it Buttons. And the Lord was holding this puppy and was saying, "This is Buttons, and I'm keeping him for you. He'll be here in your house when you get here." Oh, she was just blown away by that. And some other things happened too that were really awesome. And then we have another young man who's 14 years old who's had a wonderful, wonderful visitation of God. And he's always been feeling very rejected and downcast. And the Lord really turned that one around. So there are several more that I can't think of them all, guys. Pay attention to the comments under the videos, because I've asked these people to please share these stories with you. They're just wonderful fruits, and this is what we're here for. This is our heart. I don't want people looking at me or looking at Ezekiel. I want you looking at the Lord and what he wants to do for you. And he's so present to you. It's just that he's grieved a lot of the time because you don't realize how present he is. But when you enter into your heart in worship, which is what I call dwelling prayer, dwelling in your heart with Jesus, when you worship and you enter into your heart with the Lord, he manifests. You just have to be persistent. And as the Lord said, these treasures can be stolen by the enemy. And I just wanted to give you a heads up on this. When these beautiful things happen in your life, be careful who you share them with. Because most people are not going to be open to what is really going on. They're going to think you're mentally ill or imagining things or making things up. And that, making things up and that it's not truly real. But you know better because you've been studying these things with us and you understand how they work. And another thing, stay away from negativity. Anyone who is negative about what you're learning and what you're experiencing, they can be used to steal the sweet gifts that the Lord gives you. So they really need to be protected in your heart and kept safe. So the Lord bless you all, and I'm so grateful to you for your prayers for me. That's where my strength comes from. And I'm so blessed. If you have any experiences that you want to share with us, please let me know. And maybe we'll have a heaven talk one night and we'll read all of these incredible things that are going on. The Lord bless you with a very precious and sweet day in His presence. Amen.